Ayubovan, Vanakkam, Namaste, and a very good day to everyone. I am Janani from Anuradhapura, Sri Lanka. Today, I am your host on behalf of the International Association for Quality Education. The International Association for Quality Education is a non-profit international organization working with educators across the globe to enhance the quality of education and contribute to achieving the sustainable development goals. The International Project for Capacity Development in Education has been implemented alongside the International Conference Series on Quality Education. This international project serves as a platform for education professionals to share best practices, research findings, and competencies with all stakeholders in the field of education. Additionally, the platform acts as a virtual learning space for young educators to acquire new knowledge and grow as a professional in the education sector. Today, we are honored to have a very special speaker with us. She is Ms. Preeti Tyagi ma'am from India. She is currently conducting a lecture series on effective classroom management for quality pre-primary and primary education. So far, she has delivered 5 presentations related to classroom management. Today, she will be discussing the topic language and literature, play with English grammar. I believe this will be very engaging and relevant topic for all of us. Namaste, ma'am. I would like to invite you,
Namaste.
ma'am. I
Thank
would
you
like to
so
invite
much.
you, ma'am, for
Thank you
start the
so much,
session.
Janani. Thank you so much because the introduction that you gave, it was very profound. Thank you for having me here. Yes, today we are going to conduct the fifth session of ours. And in this session that we are going to talk about language and literature. When I say language and literature, I don't mean to English language or English literature only, but I mean to every language and every literature. Because when we say literature, literature mirrors the society. So if we want to know our society better, we need to understand, we need to have the neck of understanding the literature, and we need to work on our language as well. Right, play with English grammar. Simultaneously, that we are also going to talk about that English grammar. The spelling is not right here, so there is something missed. So don't consider it. So we are also just going to talk about that how grammar is used and what are the ways through which we can understand the grammar. Because what I believe that grammar is a set of rules, but these rules are very, very imperative to understand the language. See, if you can remember in earlier sessions that we talk about that how beautifully that we can express our views, how skillfully that we can express our views. Yes, if we nicely want to talk about our language, we nicely want to express ourselves emotions, it would be done through the beautiful and equally skilled language. And when we say language, it means that indirectly we are putting focus on our grammar as well. So you all can see here that language is a metaphor for our thoughts. If our thoughts are great, if our thoughts are profound, if our thoughts are deep, definitely whatever words, that whatever sentences that we are going to employ, all would be of the same structure. So language is what makes us human. Otherwise, without language, we won't be able to express ourselves. Neither we could understand others the way they wanted to make us understand. It is a recourse against the meaningless noise and silence of nature and history. If we talk about, right, there is a difference between language and sound. We are surrounded by so much of a chaos around us, right? But when we say language, language is just simply not the culmination of certain sounds and the letters. Rather, it is a polished expression. So, and when I say literature, definitely every language has certain literature. So literature, as I said it, as I begin with, is the mirror of the society. That everything, that whatever we understand, whatever we read, either in the form of prose and poetry, that literature mirrors it. Literature is full of everything that happens in the society. So now let's move further. The aims and objective of teaching language and literature, right? We need to be very, very particular about it, that whatever activity we are doing it, whatever that we are investing our time with, what are the aims and objective of it, that how it is going to benefit us. Otherwise it would be a useless activity. So let's get into the benefits of it. Right, extension of experience. See that whenever take a deep dive to our literature, we are going to extend our experiences, because we cannot go everywhere and everywhere, we cannot talk to everyone and everyone, like, but still through the language and literature, yes, we can get into the most significant brains of the world. So that will happen through the literature. We can know that how people think, we can know what is the modus operandi of the society. Extension of knowledge. And if we are gathering this much experience, undoubtedly it will give a pace to our knowledge. We are going to enhance our knowledge. Right, sharpening of sensitivity. When we say that literature is not all about one emotion, it is the mix of every emotion. So if we are good at reading the literature, it means we are good at showing and expressing our emotion, that we become sensitive enough to feel the pain, to feel the happiness. In fact, we also learn to empathize with people, and even the people that who belong to the downtrodden part of the society. So this way, language and literature sensitize us. Preparation for what to be met in a life. Life is so uncertain. We cannot vouch on something, that if we are born and brought up into a very convenient atmosphere, that we are going to have always that sort of facilities around us. No, we can't vouch for it. We need to though we need to hope for always the good, but we need to be prepared for the worst as well. So when we just read the society, when we just know that how society is made of, so we just prepare ourselves. And if we have a nice language over us, so definitely that we can better fare in this world. Right, release from tension. Generally there are so many that who do not like to meet with the people, in the society. But if they, you might have heard it somewhere down the line, that that books are the best friend of everyone. Yes, exactly. But because I myself read a lot, and I could understand, I could relate it with this thing, that if you want to create, a safe place for yourself, wherein that you can, vent out all sort of emotion, just read. And what are we going to read? Literature. Literature is not something related to one particular genre, but it has all the genre into it. Like we can read tragedy, we can read comedy, we can read history, we can read mystery, we can read fiction, non-fiction, philosophy, psychology, and everything. So everything has its own charm, right? And when we get into in so much, that we are making ourselves free from all sort of tensions. So that is a kind of a refuse as well, refuse from all sort of tensions. Acquisition of sound attitude and value. Right, exactly. When we are into literature, so we just understand that what sort of an attitude, what sort of a narratives that people have woven around us, what sort of a values that we are setting our target ahead. Like knowledge of the literary heritage. The world is so big, right? It means that we have so much to learn. But how are we going to learn? When we have that love towards literature. So yes, we need to help our students to cultivate the habit of reading, because when we read, we are not limitizing ourselves to the people of our own country, but simultaneously that we are taking the assistance from everywhere. Like for an example, who doesn't know about Shakespeare? Everybody knows. Like though, if I'll talk about Shakespeare, is not born into India. He was born, right, in London. but still that we know and we read everything that was written by him, and we take pleasure into it, we feel happiness into, we cry with all the characters that whatever character that he had aged, right? Understanding of the role of men in the world, we understand our responsibility, priorities, duties and rights as well. It is possible only through the literature, when we have that neck towards the literature. Yes, use language as a vehicle for thoughts, creativity, reflection, learning, self expression, analysis, and social interaction. See, when I say that we understand everybody and simultaneously we can express ourselves, I am not referring to the language. What I'm referring to that being a human, that we are gifted this, that we can express ourselves. But what about language? I am not talking the language that you may have, like for an example, in Sri Lanka, you have Sinhalas. In India, we have Hindi and English. So I'm not targeting neither Sinhala nor Hindi and English. I'm talking about any language. When we have that polished language, it can become the vehicle for the thought. Our thoughts can be better expressed, right? Not only our thoughts, creatively we can express ourselves. Maybe the situation is so flimsy, we can't afford to be angry, but still we have to express ourselves. Language, the polished language, the fine language, the skilled language will make us to able ourselves express without making others offended. Reflection, we can weigh our actions, we can weigh the pros and cons of our every action. Learning, we also learn from people when we listen to the people, right? We also learn from them that how beautifully, how minutely they have expressed that themselves, right? So it's a medium of self expressions. Analysis, social interaction. Yes, if we are good at communication, if we are good at expressing, if we are good at the language, yes, we can be involved into the society, because ultimately we are the social creatures. Develop this skill involved in listening, speaking, reading, writing and viewing, presenting in a variety of contexts. Yes, if we have a good hold onto the language, we can work on our listening skills. If you can remember the previous presentations as well, you will be remembering this thing that I made you to find out the difference between hearing and listening. I am not targeting hearing here, I'm targeting listening. When I say listening, it means attentive listening, attentive hearing, wherein not only that you are hearing through your ears, but simultaneously you are involving your brain to it, you are processing that information, and once this information is processed, that you would be further replicated into the similar manner, maybe more profound, profound or refined manner. Reading, yes, writing, viewing. Because why I have taken these two topics together, literature and language? Because all the languages have literature, right? And if we have a neck, if we have an interest toward literature, that skilled language is itself a byproduct of it. And vice versa, if we have a good interest in our language, that we are bound to read the literature as well. That is how that I could find that synthesis between these two, that how language and literature are important to us. So develop this skill, so when we read, when we work on a language, automatically there are certain other skills, they will also be polished. Develop critical, creative, and personal approaches to studying and analyzing literary and non literary texts. Yes, we have that sensitivity, that we have that, understanding towards the different sort of emotional. Not only that, we will understand the empathetic listening. When I say empathetic listening, it means that I am asking you to separate the message from the messenger. Many a time it happens that we do not read between the lines. When I say between the lines, it means that we simply just focus on the words only, we hardly focus the intention, and that why we misunderstand the message. Yes, fine and polished language simultaneously combined and coupled with literature makes us to aware the message and makes us to recognize the intention rather than the structure of the message. So that means that I want to say that yes, language and literature make us sensitive towards the intention. Yes, develop a lifelong interest into reading. When I say that we have that interest in literature, we are bound to read. I have, many a time emphasized it previously as well, that reading is one of the most beautiful skills of 21st century, because when we read, we are far from all kind of a distractions. We are into the accordance with the fine brains of the world, right? That whatever kind of browsing they have done, whatever kind of research they have done it on so and so topics, that by sitting at the comfort of our own house, comfort of our own room, that we are getting that knowledge. So it means that is a kind of a win-win situation to us. Now, communicate and collaborate in a confident and creative way. Yes, we are confident, and once we are confident, everything is just an easy path to us, that we can explore anything, we can express anything, and that too in a creative way. See, many a time that it happens that you are so impacted by somebody who just walks into the room. you know Generally it is said that every person has a spark. Some show their spark when they enter the room, and some show their spark when they exit the room. So this way, that learning will make you to feel inclined towards all those famous personality whom you can be impacting, you can be impacted. You may choose your role models, and believe me, there are two ways of choosing your role models. If you are not sensitive enough, you may choose any otherwise person, any random person, for an example, YouTuber, the influencer as well. But when you have that interest, when you understand the literature, when you are in accordance with the fine brains of the world, you will have all the role models, the models of a prominence, significance, not any random influencer. Yes, develop an understanding of relationship between studies, language and literature, and other discipline. Many people may have this view that we belong to science subjects. Why should we read literature? So, literature is not the copyright of all the language people, all the people that who teach language. No. In fact, this is a right to everyone. Literature is our own right. The way, the kind of liberties that we have, in the similar way that we have our rights to the literature. Literature will not confine us to any particular stream or any subject, because I would like to repeat it here. Literature is the language of the society. It is not language of us. It is a language of a society. And when I say society, it means that I am referring to the world at large. So these are certain benefits, right? These are certain aims and objectives of learning and teaching language and literature. Many people can have that view, oh, we are quite good at our own language. Why should we work it? We should work it, that how skillfully and how smartly we can express ourselves. Less word, more impact. Right? How could we read the situation? Language also teaches us that where should we speak and where should we be quiet. It's not necessary that every time, whether it is needed or it is not needed, that we have to speak. No. Language also teaches us that what is the requirement of that particular moment. Should we be quiet or should we be expressive? Okay, now let's move further. Develop an understanding of relationship between study, that we are already covered. Now, how to improve student literature analysis? Okay, these were the benefits, that we should do this, we should do that. Now, the ultimate question is that how should we do it? Because rather than what should we do it, we need to be much more focused to how should we do it. So annotate text, that whatever that you are teaching your students on whiteboard or blackboard on notebook, ask them to underline, and you should also annotate text, that that these are the highlighted points, these are the major points. Try and focus your attention to these points as well. So when you'll give them the habit of this, they'll understand, okay, these lines are important, this sentence is important, maybe the theme lies within that sentence is important. So just give them the habit of annotating text, right? The marking text. Show student how to highlight key passage, mark unfamiliar words, write notes into the margin, they may have their own notes. Now build literary vocabulary. See, we also call it in the jewelry of language. Every language has certain, in English, that we call it literary devices, right? Maybe the literary devices are basically the devices which beautify the language. So every language has certain literary devices. Try and make your students aware about these literary devices. Now they will understand it, that just to beautify our language, that we need to employ certain techniques and certain words and certain theories as well. That way they understand as well. It means that the language is also a skill which can be enhanced through the practice and through certain strategies. Okay, so just give them the vocabulary, that my language has that vocabulary, my language has these literary skills, that if you employ them into your conversation, if you employ them into your write-ups, if you employ them into thought process, this way that you will beautify, you will prettify your language. You model analytical thinking. Walk through a paragraph or poem together, demonstrating how to break it down. Do not try to read it in one go. Try to break it down, because every paragraph has uh, mainly one emotion, but it may have certain other emotions as well. So point it out there, that see, this particular paragraph has the emotion of anger, has the emotion of dilemma, has the emotion of conflict. So just make them to notice the emotions, to notice the tone, intonation as well, and simultaneously the reflection, that why you are feeling that this passage reflects to that particular feeling. So this way that you will make them interesting, they will come up their own interpretation, they will come up with their own narrative, that that was the reason the character, the protagonist is going through that phase. Think aloud. This phrase suggests tension. Why does that paragraph, or why does that phrase suggest tension? What does that tell us about the character's mindset? In that way they will come into the analytical skills, that they will come, that these were the reason, that was the circumstances, these were the situations as well, that made the protagonist to think in that way. Use comparative analysis. Yes, that is also one of the good strategies, I must say, that if there are two characters, that one may be protagonist and another is antagonist in the literature, try to bring out the comparison, why the so and so character is called as the protagonist and another is called as the antagonist. What are the qualities that are making them opposite to each other? So now again the children will come up, ma'am, I think the first has done a good work, that is why he is the hero of that literature, but another one was opposing that man, so it means that is the villain. Okay, discuss theme and context. Ask your children to find out the purpose, the theme. What was the purpose, that why did you think the writer has written it? There must be certain because every piece of literature has a theme, a context, right? Context related to the society, context related to your brain, context related to anything which is some way or the other be associated to humankind, to us only. So just try and find out that context. Now, purpose of literature, right? How are you going to teach the literature to your children? First of all, just give them the story structure and character. you know we call it like situations. You might have observed that whenever you go to the multiplex to watch a movie, the movie doesn't start in a random way. It will always have the setting. Maybe it will talk about the weather, it was a winter season. It will talk about the year, right? This story belongs to 1984. Yeah, it was a chilly weather, it was scorching heat, in that way. So whenever that you are going to talk about the literature, give them the setting. We call it setting. Setting refers to the year, the weather, the atmosphere, right? The place, and after that give them the character. Now once the setting is done, let's talk about the character. Who all are the characters and what sort of a terms? Mainly the theme, meaning and message. Now just give them meaning and message. Rather than jumping onto meaning and message, just build a story yourself. Because since that we are dealing with the students, that we are teaching this students, so it means just to bring out their interest, just to create their interest. What we have to do, we have to assign that piece of literature to the practical life, to your own society. And how are you going to do it? Just create a story yourselves, right? How? Okay, just give them the certain situation. Okay, just tell me one thing. If they were, there were two characters related to the story, now create, what would you think, what would have happened? Give them the question mark. Do not complete the story, only the gist is to be shared. Now what they will again come up with their own narrative, their viewpoint, their vantage point, their perspectives. And that way, don't think that your chapter is not started. Believe me, chapter is already been started when you introduce them the setting. Okay, language and style. Yes, point them that how beautifully the sentence is structured, how beautifully the emotions were played in this, how beautifully so and so character has expressed ourselves. That whenever you find something good, whenever you find a vocabulary used in a very different manner, ask them to underline, annotate, and simultaneously make the mention of it. Because if you are reading them continuously, you are not making the mention, believe me, it will not be noticed. Children are not so intelligent to make the notice of certain things until unless we will make them to notice. So kindly be very very particular about it. Because it happens that when you will appreciate the literature, they will appreciate it further. And how are we going to appreciate it? When we are mindful to every structure, every construction, every the usage of words, the terms, the theme, and could be associating themes. Theme is not about one particular emotion. There are certain other emotions which will take this theme to be completion. So yes, give them that feed. For an example, if I'll talk about story structure and characters, so what are the things that you have to tell them? Plot, you will tell them what happens in the society, just gist of it. Okay. And now setting, where and when the story takes place. As I told you, protagonist, who is the main character? Main character is always called the hero, but in literature it's always a protagonist, antagonist. Because since otherwise how are we going to define that who is the main character if there is no antagonist? So it means the role of a villain is equally very very important. And now when we say that he is a villain, so just give them the qualities to your students, that how and why this character is termed as a villain. What are the negative qualities that he is associated with? It means the children will have that mindset in ki, if I will have these qualities, I will also be termed as a negative one, I will also be termed as a villain one. So literature is very beautiful. The only thing is that how beautifully that we are just playing with it. Every part of the literature is to be played with. Okay, now conflict. There is a protagonist, there is an antagonist. Now, are they standing like that? What is the purpose? How the story, would be expanded? There must be something that is called conflict. It means the, moot point. What is the point of conflict? So definitely the problem, the struggle, that it is about the nature. It means here we are talking about the theme. climax, not how the story will be culminated, how the story will be climaxed. So yes, these are the story structure and character terms. If we'll talk about the language, that was a part of a literature. But if I'll say language, so it means here you have to talk about syntax of the sentences, structure of the sentences, and literary devices. Like, see, rather than saying that I don't want to do it, for an instance, I want to say I don't want to do it. That sounds very plain, right? We may say I always wanted to be with you and always wanted to give my hand to you, but still, nowadays I'm so occupied with the occupied with the work that irrespective of what I feel, I can't be with you. So that talks about the poetic explanation. In that way, it will not sound as bad as it sounded earlier. Metaphor, these are the English literary devices, right? When we, because in literature we compare two things. I don't know that what are these literary devices is called in other languages as well, but yes, that is for sure. Every language has certain jewelry, I must say. Let me put it in that way. The way we use the jewelry to beautify us, to prettify us, in the similar manner, language also needs certain sort of jewelry. Okay, now, okay, let's move further. Meaning and message, very very important, because without it there is no use of reading the what for what reason that we read something? Find out the crux, to understand something, to learn something, to be motivated, or to be enjoyed. There are certain there are certain objectives of literature. Either we want to learn anything, or we are just reading it for the syllabus purpose. We want to be enjoyed as well. We want to pass our time. We are seeking for an escape, or maybe that we have a genuine love that irrespective of anything we simply want to learn. But there is always a purpose, and the purpose is going to be solved when we know the objective. So theme is the big idea or message. One theme, that if I say that theme, this theme of the story is love. So in the entire story, there couldn't be a conversation is all about the love. There must be hate. There must be rivalry. There must be competition. There must be conflict. There must be dilemma. So, but the overpowering theme of that literature is love, right? This is a love story, but every emotions were employed into it. Tone, the author's attitude or mood in the writing. Was it a tragic? Was it a comic tragedy? Some parts were comical, other was tragical, or the entire story were completely philosophical, funny. So this way, just ask them, what do you think, what would be the tone of the writer? Okay, mood, right? The feeling the reader gets, that is that, after once we are done with the story, how are we feeling? Because I told you, that the literature makes you sensitive. Yes, literature makes us human being, because nowadays there are so many detachments that we are coming across with. But when we are into the literature, we find a kind of a connection with the characters. But how are we going to find the characters when we are fully involved into the literature? So the feeling the reader gets when the story is over, when the novel is over, what sort of feeling? Are we sad? Are we joyful? Are we peace? That will talk about that what sort of a mood the writer has planned for the reader. Symbol, right? When sympathy, because there are so many, philosophical novels wherein the things are not directly said, right? In fact, they are camouflaged, right? They are said into a very hidden way. Okay, until unless that we understand the symbolic power of language and literature, we won't be able to find out the hidden meaning. For an instance, if it's a story about dove, there is a book in English literature, An Animal Farm, I guess. So that is based on the politics. Okay, but all the characters are animal out there. So until unless that we understand the importance of a symbol, that how these animals are not the animals anymore, they are, an example of symbol to the different part of the politics, right? So this way we need to have that knowledge as well. Imagery, you might if you might have yourself experienced some way or the other that when you read something, you just lost yourself, and all the sense organs that your mind, your brain, start conjecturing the images, and your eyes start seeing them, though the physically they are not in front of you, but in brain everything is happening, that whatever you are reading, everything is happening. If you are reading a conversation, you can hear that conversation here. And some incidents are also uh, there, wherein if you read them, you can have the goosebumps, you can have the feeling of patriotism, you can have the feeling of fear, you can have the feeling of a romance, you can have the feeling of anger. Yes, it happens through the imagery, right? Okay, so imageries are always very descriptive and sensory. Imagery works on our sense organs. Okay, now reverse engineer literary style. How are we going to do it? Right, instead of just analyzing theme or character, take a paragraph from a classic or admire author and rewrite into your words. Imagine yourself. This way you can give that exercise to your students as well, that wherein that you have taken the extract from some very known books or from some very known writer, and you are giving just paragraph to your student and ask them, just this is the situation. Now if you were at that writer place, how would you how would you write it up? In that way they will come up with their own, because somehow they have understood the gist, they have understood the theme, and now their creativity will be into the picture, right? When they try to emulating the style into new original paragraph on a different, the new style will come up, because these are they are the new generation. They may have their own sets of imagination, they may have their own sets of words of comparison and symbol, right? So they'll employ all of them, and believe me, a new piece will be coming up. Perform micro drama reading. Choose short scenes and monologues. Monologues is a kind of a dialogue which is not been directed to anybody else. In fact, that we all are. It monologue happens to everyone. Wherein, let me put it in that way, wherein we are talking to ourselves. Okay, so that boosts both language intonation and literary interpretation, plus improves spoken fluency and memory retention. Because when we do that monologue, there is nobody. See, it's pretty easy. If there are two people, that we can converse to each other, because the one is asking question and the another is replying. So this way the conversation can happen for hours. But assume there is only one person, that how the conversation will take place. I am the only one that who will have to answer. I am the only one that who will have to ask questions. So this will happen through monologue. And what is the benefit of monologue? Monologue, works on the retention of our memory, because we are the one that uh, you know, who is retaining the information. So this way it will work on the retention power, memory retention technique. This is also one of the most recognized and the good techniques of memory retention. Dissemble sentences like machine. There if there are sentences, just break them into parts. Okay, and identify and just ask them, okay, find out the grammatical portion into it. What are the clauses, right? What are the nouns? What are the adjective? What is the syntax? So just ask them, a paragraph is there, and just break it into the parts and just ask them to find out what is what. That, what are the different parts of language? that you have selected out of it. So that way children will also develop their interest, and not only they will accentuate their interest into the literature, simultaneously it will work to their grammatical part as well. Okay, now once they are done with summary, reaction, dialogue, they need to impersonate themselves as a the writer of that piece. Just give them the activity. Okay, what if you were the writer of the story, and now you are coming, you are into an interview with that person. Give them certain questions and how well they answer. Okay, for an instance, the child is impersonating the writer of the story, and now you are the interviewer, and you are asking the question, sir, what made your mind to write that story which was against the time and situation? Right. Now the child will understand, the child will answer, okay, that I was a revolutionary one and I wanted to bring a change into the society. So, just being unmindful the opposition, I thought of writing a novel which could spark the thought process of the people. Now believe me, what sort of a fascinating questions and answers that you'll have. So okay, this approach for reflection, so we'll be working high order skills of, so never think that literature is no, we should never and ever do it teaching into a traditional way. Traditional, gone are the days that when we used uh, to have the traditional way and we were happy about it. No, things are changed, students are changed, and so does the teaching methodology. So it means we have already discussed that adopt an author's mindset. It means that you have to pretend that you are the author of the novel, that you have read it, written a journal, and now you may start writing a diary entry, because in India it's a part of a syllabus as well. We ask our children to write the diary, and in diary the children can start it like that: dear diary, today I had read a novel which was based on this, and there were so many character, I enjoyed it, and I thought if I were at that place I would have done this. So in that way children will find out their retention, builds deep literary empathy, will have that sensitivity, will have that awareness toward the literary devices. And once we'll start having that literary devices, automatically we are honing our language skills as well. Right. Okay. And echo plus shadow, we also talked about that if you want to really work on a language, that you can have a audio clip or the video clip of your particular ideal, that whom you want to imitate, right? And you can listen to it, you can echo it, you can replicate it, and then you can shadow it. Shadowing is also very good technique to learn the language. Okay, like for an example, kindly have a look wherein that I have made a mention today and focus. See, you can, Monday to Friday, you can work on students' vocab plus speaking plus grammar. Saturday, you can give them the work to reading and writing practices, leaving the grammar. Okay, now the grammar, because once we say na grammar, the children are always very paranoid. And Sunday, you can give them the homework that so and so that you can work with. Like for an instance, this is the poem. On the theme of that poem, you have to write it yours. Okay. Now, you know, since language, I would, the grammar, when I said so grammar, we have to make, the ambience of the classroom very easy. Because when we say okay, we are going to learn grammar, children tend to be paranoid, because grammar, they associate grammar with the rules, and rules are to be forgotten, rules are to be broken. So when I say grammar, so let's create an atmosphere of being very easy with the student, that grammar is not all about the rules. Yes, there are certain rules, but every rule has an exception to it. And not only that, because I believe that ambience is always a third teacher. right? Until unless that we create that ambience of just being very easy, being easygoing, children won't be able to understand it. For an instance, in English, that we have active and passive. We do have active and passive, wherein that we ask our children to find out the difference. The sentence is same. Like for instance, if I say that I read a book, so there is another way of saying the same thing. A book was read by me. So the first sentence was active, wherein I was the subject, and second was the passive sentence, wherein the work was made prominent. In that way, if we'll give that sort of rules to the students, they will never be understanding it. So how do I start? I started, okay, just count 1, 2, 3. And they'll say 1, 2, 3. Now reverse it. So they'll say 3, 2, 1. Exactly. They are done with the active and passive. What you all you need to do it 1, 2, 3 to 3, 2, 1. That I'll bring out the synthesis that among all three of them. That one will take place of three and three will take place of one. That way. And two will always remain the same in both the sentences. So that way rules are to be communicated later, but first make them, the things are pretty simple. For an instance, if I'll say noun, so noun, it means everything is noun. Rather than giving them the long definition and the connotations in the first place, it will confuse the children. Say them, oh, you want to talk about noun? Everything is noun, right? This room is noun, me is noun, the books are noun, the water is noun, everything is noun. Now they'll be curious enough, like how everything is now. It means that you have set the stage. This is the time wherein that you start introducing the rules, but how? One by one. And you will see an impact out there, because everything happens through here. If the mindset is created in a certain way, we are conditioned, you know. So the kind of conditioning that we are providing to our students, the kind of work that we are expecting from them. So this way, that today's presentation was all about the literature, that how are we going to develop our interest towards the literature and literature. Because if we are interested in a literature, it means that we are working towards honing the language skills. Yeah, and if our language skills are quite improved, right? I'm not talking about merely speaking, because everybody can speak, everybody can express, everybody can show the emotion. But what makes the difference? Right? The skillful. Every act has to be skilled, right? The mindful, expressions of our emotion, the mindful responding to the question, right? It's not about that every random way we are answering it. No, that what is the demand of the situation? Can we read the room? Can we read the people? And this is how that we can respond. Are we simply reacting or we responding? So the difference between reacting and responding is the entire game of the language. So try and make your children aware the difference between speaking and difference between skillfully speaking, and this way they will start working on their language. So when I'll say language, it means they are start being aware and interested towards the other part of a languages. For an instance, noun, pronoun, adjective, the qualities, that how better they can explain people, right? Adverb, intensity, right? And interjection, when they are just coming across certain excitements and certain surprises, how are they going to express it? So they'll work on their verbal communication, they will work on their non-verbal communication. So this way the language is improved. When I say literature, so it means they are coming, that we cannot go everywhere and everywhere in this world. We cannot be contacted with every person, every great personalities of that world, but still through the books, through love of our, through the love towards the literature, yes, we can read their thoughts, we can read their narratives, we can get into the teachings that they wanted to communicate to the world. And this way we are expanding our knowledge. From my side, this was all about. So I'll be just looking forward, Rashmi ma'am, to add something to it. Any
Thank
question
you,
till
ma'am.
now that you can ask?
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to warmly welcome Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, ma'am, to this virtual platform on behalf of the International Association for Quality Education. Dr. Rashmi Tyagi, ma'am, is a well-known edu leader in India. In fact, her reputation extends beyond India to many South Asian countries, especially in Sri Lanka. Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
I would like to invite you, ma'am, and I love to hear a few words about today's session, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Good morning.
Sure.
Good evening, Rashmi ma'am.
Good evening, everyone here. Welcome. And I just want to say that the interaction is going on very well between, I'll say educators. Among the educators, I have to speak good English, grammatically good, because all of you English teachers are here. It was a wonderful English lecture today, and I can't comment much on that. But what I can say that creativity is very important, innovation is very important. And once you know how to write the language, how to speak it, then we should encourage the students to write their own stories, poetries, etc. And it was so good to hear, as Preeti was telling, that shadow or kind of a, pedagogy, like, and thinking that you are the, writer or the poet. So that way, like a shadow, you can learn better. Am I right, Deepti? This is what you wanted to say. So,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. So that way we can train our students for a language. And after that, I will say that I'm just waiting for that day when all of you are coming here, and I'm very much excited about it. And we are trying our best that when you come to Mumbai, India, then we'll have a very good time, both ways. That means the exchange of, educational speeches, because that is, the work of Mr. Kamal Ghoda. I have attended 3, 4 conferences in different countries, which were, convened by Mr. Kamal Ghoda, and I found that academic standard of these conferences was very good, and even the arrangements were very much impressive. And we will try our best that when you all are coming, so first, the thing which we will do, we will give, preference to the academic exchanges with the keynote speeches, with the, panel discussions, and with the interactions of Indian and Sri Lankan educators. That means learning from each other. So we will expect that you people also present something. And the cultural programs which are presented by the Sri Lankans, they are extraordinary and excellent. I loved to watch them. They are very traditional. So this time also, we will like to have that. And now, last but not the least, is that Mumbai is a very good place on this planet Earth, and you will be enjoying this place. We will try to enjoy with you visiting the different places in Mumbai and around Mumbai also. So I'm so excited. I'm just waiting for that date when all of you are coming here. It's like I'm waiting for my own people. I'm not saying that I'm waiting for the teachers from Sri Lanka. I'm waiting for all of you, our dear and near ones. Am I right, Dipti? Dipti? And I'm also waiting for you. Can you invite them something in good English? Because I'm speaking from my heart. You can speak, in a language, English language.
No, ma'am, the way you have communicated, it seems that yes, that you have involved your heart into it, right? The kind of invitation that you have extended. So that was very charming and that was very emotional. I would like to
Personal.
add to, yeah, personal. So I
Yeah.
would like to add, yes, I am also eager to meet each one of you because the ma'am said it that I am also starting feeling that I'm going to meet my own family member. So
Yes,
do
yes.
come, that we'll be sharing. And yes, we are waiting. We are, glad to be host. What do you think, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Yeah, certainly. And we'll make them our own. So we
Yeah,
we all will be family members. So no host, no guest. Togetherness. Okay.
together, very beautiful. No host, no guest,
Yes, yes.
togetherness.
We learn a lot apart from the education. That if they can prepare something, a very good recipe, they can give us and they can prepare at my home. I'll invite them to my home also.
Yes,
Okay.
and
Ma'am,
yes,
Yeah.
can I talk with you?
Yes. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
yeah. We
Sha-
usually, yeah. Okay, ma'am. That we usually come to that Mumbai. This time also, that previously we came that Delhi, and now this time that me and my another teachers eagerly come to watch you so much,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that join your programs and that learn a lot in that
I
India
will learn
and
some
the
recipes
culture
from
and the,
you.
all the
You
things,
are
ma'am.
ignoring. You are ignoring.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, I can understand. So
Yes.
this is my message to you. We'll exchange so many things other than
Yeah.
education also on as a friends,
Yeah,
Yes.
ma'am. It's a very good
yes.
opportunity to us, ma'am. We
Yeah.
hope. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Who
Good
is this
night.
Thank
new
you,
girl? Who is this new girl who spoke just now in orange dress? No,
Ma'am,
Shanika.
I'm
Janani.
Janani. I'm
Okay, okay.
Janani.
Janani.
Okay, how are you? Nice talking to you.
Ma'am, she is from Air
Everyone,
Force.
She's from?
yeah.
Air Force. Yeah, she is a teacher of the Air Force preschool. Generally, you introduce
Okay,
yourself.
okay. Welcome
Yeah,
because
ma'am.
she's speaking.
Ma'am,
Yes,
I'm a teacher of Sri Lankan Air Force preschool.
very
I'm
good.
wo- I'm
Excellent.
working as a preschool teacher in Sri Lanka Air Force as 6 years now. I have completed.
Yeah, yeah. It will become
After
60.
I have now more than 9 years to complete more, and after that I'm taking a pension, ma'am.
Okay, okay. That's what, I wanted to know about you. So thank you so much.
So I'm also wish to uh, visit Mumbai, ma'am, and join the conference on August, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. We are waiting for you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Preeti Tyagi, ma'am, and Rashmi Tyagi, ma'am, for spending valuable time with us and giving a grateful session for us. Thank you, ma'am, and namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
Namaste. Good night.
Good night.
Good night,
Shubh
ma'am.
Ratri.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.